guys, welcome to Tales Point Horror Book Club for June? June? I couldn't remember. We're reading Help Wanted. We have been reading Help Wanted by Richie Tankersley Cusick. I couldn't remember what month we were then. I was going to say July, and then I thought, no, July's not right. Right, I'm just going to add in CJ. Here we go, hopefully. There's me forgetting what month it was. Oh, this month's gone so quick. I just don't know where the time's gone. Crazy. Oh dear. Hopefully this is CJ. Hi, CJ.
Hi.
Oh, you're surrounded by nature.
Yeah, it's a nice like foggy morning in California.
Oh, lovely. Oh, it's nice to hear the birds actually. It makes a change.
They're loud. If it's annoying, I'll go inside.
No, it's lovely. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm great, thanks. I had so
Oh.
much fun with this book.
Oh, I'm so pleased. Like, I always have high hopes for a Richie Tankersley Cusick book, and it was pure coincidence that I picked this book, and it had a character called Claudia in it.
I know. I know.
But
That was very exciting to me. But that era, I feel like was a time of Claudia's in books,
yeah,
and now there are none.
no, we need to change that. We need
We
to
got to
change
bring the
it.
Claudias back.
Petition time, petition. But yeah, thanks for joining us, CJ. So, if you don't know who CJ is a horror writer, a hiker, a Trekkie. Yes, for the Trekkies. Yes. Oh dear. And yeah, so basically, her debut was Mayfly, which this is the UK cover, which I read on my Kindle. I devoured it. It's so good, so good. Chef's kiss. I highly recommend. And you've got a new book coming out in October, American
Yep.
Rapture. Can you tell us
Yep.
a little bit about it?
Totally. It's kind of like a sheltered Catholic girl in the Midwest in the States, comes into her like sexual awakening at the same time as the world explodes in this like sexually propagating virus pandemic that's like super violent. And she has to get across the state of Wisconsin to find her family while all of this is going on and figure out like what is normal and what is like sinful and shameful and what is like
Wow.
not. So yeah,
That
that's
sounds
kind of it.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. And like
Thank you.
when you release the cover art, so I think is this the American cover? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to see all my pictures
Yeah.
at the bottom. But that cover art's brilliant. We're getting a UK release, are
You
we?
know,
Oh.
it's we've got it coming out in other countries, but
Yeah.
UK not yet. UK hasn't.
What?
I know. It's we'll see. I'm hopeful. But yeah, if you know any publishers, tell them to buy my book.
Yeah, who do I need to speak to? Definitely. Oh, but if not, I'll definitely be grabbing that copy from the US, definitely. So it sounds so good. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you.
I've just seen Sharon put she loved Mayfly. And
Oh,
Narissa said it's like you're Robin and Faye sneaking through that Californian hedge outside.
that's so funny. If like, am I Faye? Faye is crazy. Faye is unreal. I'm sure we're gonna get into that, but Faye cracked me up.
We definitely will. And B Mandy said, I pictured CJ when I was reading Claudia. Not sure whether that
I'll
might be
take
a good
that. I like that.
thing. Yeah. Oh dear. Just seeing it. Oh yeah, B Mandy said American Rapture, Heart Eyes, and I'm so excited. Yeah. Marzipan Pony said my horror booktube channels loved Mayfly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marzipan Pony is like the best handle I've ever heard, I
I
think.
know, it's so cool. Amy says she can't wait to read the new book. Lisa B for book said, "Oh man, I need to book a flight to the US."
Yeah, come on over.
And someone put England scored, so the England match must be on at the moment. I didn't realise. So,
Oh, is
oh,
there
do
a
you
map?
mean
That's so funny.
I'm taking it that meant the football was on. I'm not sure. I don't really follow the football, but anyway. So Have you read a point horror before, or is this
No.
your first time? Oh,
I
wow.
didn't even know these existed. I was like a Goosebumps girl, and
Mm.
I liked also I was like way into the Boxcar Children,
Yeah.
like obsessed with it. Um, I think I liked the idea of like just living this like lawless existence, in like a field. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't even hear about point horror. I don't know how like I missed,
Oh.
I don't know if I was like I don't know. Maybe they weren't like putting them out in Texas where I
Yeah.
grew up, but it
Yeah.
was really fun. It was like it was kind of bonkers. Like you're dropped in, and then there are so many
Oh.
characters right off the
Oh.
bat.
So my notes, I was making notes and I was like, I'm just going to give up now. There's just too
I
many
know.
characters.
I wish I had taken notes because I was like, who? And even like you emailed me something about Herc, and I was like, who is Herc? And then I was like, oh, it's the grandpa. I just like couldn't even.
No, but we call it RTC, so short for Richie Tankersley Cusick, but she always puts a lot of characters in her books. Lots, all them red herrings, you see. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
I'm glad that we introduced you. And Larissa just said, "What a book to start with." It was. I did enjoy it. It was a good one.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, and like I think a lot of people who haven't read Point Horror tend to have gone from Goosebumps straight to like Stephen King or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a few people that I've spoken to, it's very, very similar. And I seem to go from Point Horror to Stephen King. So maybe that was just like, in the UK, different transition from Goosebumps, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm like excited to know that this exists. How many are there? Do you know?
Oh, there's about, I think, well, I've got them all behind me
Are,
here, and I'm sure there's
is
like
that,
about
oh my gosh, that's
70 something.
crazy.
Yeah, something like that. I've never actually really counted them. I was meant to be making a list and I just lost track. But yeah, I think I have all of them now. And they did like these shiny editions, which are just there behind that cup, like reissues and that. So,
What
and some
a cool
audio
collection.
tapes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's took a few years to get there because I had quite a few and then I lost them, so then I recollected and things. So it's taken a while. Some of them are quite tricky to get, as we've discovered through the book
Yeah.
club. It's quite hard to get hold of sometimes. Oh
But there are
dear.
audiobooks. Like I listened to an audiobook of this,
Yeah, yeah,
which I was like really surprised by. Great reader.
yeah. So what happened was they re-released some about 2010, 2011 under Open Road, I think, as like Kindle and audiobook, which is really cool. It's quite nice to see that there was still like, they want wanting to reprint them for, more modern audience really, but keeping the text the same. I kind of like that.
I
That was
love that.
good.
I'm seeing all these like so many people have read this book. Did
Yeah.
you did you all read this before and like just know this, or did you all read it for this? Because that's blowing my
Yeah.
mind.
Most people read along with the book club each month. Some people have read it before, and are joining in. But yeah, most people have read along. I've had quite a few people this month reading, which has been lovely. I love it. It's
Oh, it's
brilliant.
awesome.
Yeah, B Mandy said this was my first point horror too. Now I'm obsessed. Yes, join us. Join us for more. Narissa said the best ones are the bonkers ones. They really are with point horror. You can get some wild ones.
And this one definitely like went places. Like every time you were like, "Oh, okay, this is what the story is," then it like took a right turn, and you're like, "Okay, I guess we're here now."
And yeah, definitely. And Dustin from the rewatch recap said, CJ, are you missing a twin? I was also into Goosebumps and the Boxcar Children. Point horror was not on my radar.
There you go.
Yeah. Eddie May said Herc is the cutest little thing, so we'll have a chat about him. Yeah, Herc, what a name,
I
Caroline
did love
says.
Herc.
Yeah. Oh, I know, I loved him. Shaman loved him. Oh, we'll definitely have to chat about Herc, definitely. Shaman's asked me, do you own them all, Shelley? Yeah, I've got all of the point horrors and the special editions and the shinies and that. I think I'm just missing, I've got all the Unleashed as well. I'm just missing a couple of the point horror tapes, and they're just, because they did some tapes back in the day, really dramatic audio versions on tape, on cassette. So I'm
That's
just missing a couple of those.
amazing.
Yeah. Um, Narissa said, going from Goosebumps to King is wild. Surely you've got to have Pike as a bridge. Did you ever read any Christopher Pike?
N no, but Christopher Pike is also the name of a Star Trek character. If anyone
Yes.
needs to, no, but I never did. What are his books?
Oh, he did so many, so many. We read Slumber Party last December, and he did my one of my favourites is Give Me a Kiss because it's just wild. I love that one.
Love it.
Yeah, but some of his books are brilliant, like Witch, Monster, things like that. I could go on and on and on forever about Pike. He's honestly, I do recommend check him out. He's extremely good, really, really good.
Cool, thank
Brilliant.
you.
Oh, and Claire said, I've never read Goosebumps. Claire, we'll have to do one for the book club.
Goosebumps is amazing, and the choose your own adventure aspect is like
Oh,
the greatest.
those were the days. Lisa said, yeah, she reads the book club pick every month. Thank you, Lisa. And Veggie Kitty said, this is my first time reading this particular book. Yeah. Marzipan Pony said, I read it when it came out because I'm old enough for that. Then I read it again a couple of years ago because my library had it. A bunch of point horror in their ebook catalogue from Open Road. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
A
You all right?
bunny just like sorry, a bunny just
Oh,
shot out of the and then I when I realized it was here, then it went right back into the bushes. So sorry I didn't get it on camera, but it totally shocked
oh,
me.
so
See, I'm all
cute.
jumpy because I've been reading
It's
scary
like
books.
Claudia's there.
It's like Claudia's here.
Oh,
Okay,
Marzipan Pony said Christopher Pike is a pen name and he did take it from Star Trek. There you
there
go.
you go.
You're looking for the bunnies now.
I know. Okay, I'm not distracted.
No, I'd be looking for the bunnies as well. Um, so we're getting to the book then. So just a little trigger warning before we get in. The book does cover quite dark themes, including suicide, which we probably will talk about in the context of the book. So I just wanted to put that out there. But the tagline for this was part-time job or full-time nightmare. I think it sums it up quite well, really. The taglines are normally like way off, but I thought, yeah, that sums that up quite well. So there will be spoilers ahead for Help Wanted by Richie Tankersley Cusick. And I love this one because it was set in October. I love a book set in October. So Robin basically takes on more than she bargains for with a part-time job just to earn a little bit of cash. She sees this ad on the school bulletin board saying "Get rich quick," so nothing dodgy about that at all. Oh, and it promises, it makes loads of promises, this ad, and Robin just can't say no. And her new employer is the patriarch of the wealthy Swanson family. That's how I imagine them talking in an English accent. Um, who recently moved to Manorwood. I won't do that all the way through. Which is a stately mansion that has been kept empty for as long as Robin can remember. So Robin's job is to organise all of the books that belong to Lilith, who died of a gruesome suicide. I mean, it sounds like a cool job, to be
Sounds like
honest.
a great job. Like I feel like there's no question about that.
Mm,
Even with like the family drama, I'm like, yeah, but like homegirl's sitting in a library all day, in a beautiful
yeah,
old house. Like, what's the problem?
just sounds ideal. Like roaring fire, big comfy
Yeah.
chairs. Oh, yeah. Pay me. I would reply to that advert. Sign me up. But strange things start going on, and they seem to be targeting Parker, the dream boy, apparently, of the school, his stepsister Claudia, and Robin takes action. So talking about Robin then, so what did you think of Robin as a main character? Like, did she get on your nerves? Did you like her? What were your
Well,
thoughts?
I think it was that kind of like, almost like Scream Queen thing where there were times where it was like, Robin, my gal, come on. Like, don't tell this dude that you're home alone all the time and your mom
Oh,
like works across town really late and you're
mm,
by yourself in the house. It's just like,
yeah.
okay. Uh, but I mean, I loved it. She just was like, okay, I have this like kind of like not that great best friend. So instead, I'm just gonna throw myself into the lives of this like really dysfunctional family completely. And that's what I'm doing now. So
Yeah, and she really does do that. She really does. She doesn't know these
I
people, but she
know.
really does like throw herself into it. And
Just
it's only
100%.
yeah, and it's only over the span of like a couple of days as well. Which when I realised that and that dawned on me that it was just a couple of days that she'd been doing this job, I thought, okay, she really does put all her effort into this job.
All of
Bless
it.
her.
And then simultaneously, like all the boys start noticing her in the same 2 days. Like things are going on.
A lot happened in those 48
Yeah,
hours.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear. And I kind of like at the start, I did worry a little bit. I thought, oh no, what type of character is she going to be when she kind of finds that blood and dark hair in the woods covered in leaves? And then because Faye kind of says, oh, it's just a raccoon, she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh dear, is she going to be one of those characters that's easily
She,
led?
I would say she's somewhat one of those characters.
Yeah.
But almost like I don't even know totally what Robin's personality was. It was like that didn't even matter. It was really like
Mm.
about like Claudia and Lilith and Parker and Herc and also that Skaggs. What was his name?
Gags, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure that is slang over here for some type of drug. I'm sure. And I was like, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, and I meant to look that up and I forgot. But yeah, so I was like, oh, that's a weird name for
Hilarious.
a weird man. Oh dear. And do you have like a fave Robin scene? Like she had so many good scenes, I feel like that it's really hard to pick. Do you have
100%.
like
I
a
mean,
favorite?
I'm gonna say the last scene because that like
Mm.
sudden energy with this is a spoiler,
Yeah,
but everybody's read it. The
spoilers are
sudden
okay.
energy with her and Parker and Walt. And by the way, Walt like seemed very sus to me the entire time, but I guess wasn't.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like, if that doesn't become like a why choose like three-way situation, then like I'm
Yeah.
out. Then I'm done on point horror forever. But I'm gonna assume and imagine that it does, and so that's my favorite
Yeah.
scene.
No, I'd have to admit, when I got to the end, I did think she might as well just have a three-way and be done with it, to
That's what
be
I'm saying.
honest. You
Yeah, it
know?
kind of seems like those guys are down. Like,
Yeah, I think so. I think there was something going on between them two, to be honest, Parker
right?
and Walt. Yeah.
And I like
Oh.
too that Parker in the first half is just like so conceited and then just drops it entirely. Like
Yeah.
it's just
It's
at the
just.
same time that Faye leaves, like he just becomes like a kind of like decent dude.
Yeah.
Same moment.
Definitely. And I kind of liked as well with Robin that when she does meet like Skaggs, I think that's how we're saying it, Skaggs for the first time, and he kind of grabs her. I think it's like the first when she goes for the job interview.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's
Um,
kind of sneaking around.
yeah, and he grabs her and like she's like, "Don't you ever touch me again!" And that's when I started thinking, ah, I kind of like Robin. I thought good for her. And
Yeah.
she does kind of give those like cutting remarks as well. Like I think there's a scene where she's carrying her books in the corridor of the school, and then I think Faye goes on ahead or something, and the door hits Robin in the face, so she drops all the books, and Parker comes along, trying to help her, but they had this energy, and she kind of says like, "Go start your own fan club," and I was like, "Yes, Robin."
That was hilarious.
You tell him. Yeah, I liked that.
This one comment here. We mostly saw Robin through the eyes of other characters telling her how pretty and smart she was.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. You're so right.
that's so true, actually. That is so true. Like, I didn't normally I write like descriptions down of the characters, like just as I go, just so I can, remember for later. And all I literally wrote for Robin was brown hair, blue eyes, divorced parents. That's it. So you don't really get like much description of her. So that is very true.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying. I loved Walt. Claudia almost gets hit by a car, and Walt says not to worry, the driver was just having a bad day. Walt was unbelievable. Like, where did this guy suddenly come from? And then he's like so willing to do like be doting upon her like nonstop. It's just like I very sus, Walt.
Oh, the driver was having a bad day. So we're taking it that that driver was Skaggs in the end,
I
or is it
guess
just going to
so, but why
be?
couldn't they see him?
Yeah.
Why, like, is the windshield tinted? Is that like an option?
Or maybe it was just a driver having a bad day. It was just a
Maybe.
random attack. Oh, and I loved as well. This really made me laugh. I had to put the book down. So, the bath scene where she's like Robin's scared
Yeah.
to death because she's seen, something in the bath, and then it ends up just being these clothes that the maid is washing, and then like she's all traumatized, and she goes home and has a bath. And I'm like, would you get in a bath after you've just been that
That's
traumatized?
so funny. I didn't even register, but you're so right. There
Oh, it's when she finds the note, and then she drops the note of the bloodied note in the
Yes.
bath and
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
stuff.
She dropped the bloodied note in the bathwater. And then like she went and told Claudia that she had this like threatening. I was almost like I might have just stayed out of it at that point and been like, here's your book. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Just
I
deal
don't
deal
know.
with it yourself,
Yeah,
Claudia. Oh dear. B Mandy said, I loved this book, was easy to read but and really set a mood. I got original Halloween movie vibes from the beginning. Oh yeah, with all the bushes and
yeah,
shortcuts.
yeah, of course.
Claire said she would totally jump at that job application. Your worst nightmare, organising books is my dream job. Yeah. Inside the cover said, I so would have applied for the job. Yeah. I'd take the ghost, your worst nightmare. Said, yeah, definitely. We'd all snap that job up, I'm sure. Definitely. Claire said, yeah, books, creepy house, open fire, and ghost. What's not perfect about that? Speedway Chick said Parker initially gave me Julian from the Forbidden Game vibe. So we read the Forbidden Game for the book club. I think it's like a trilogy, so I think we read it over a couple of years. And there's Julian in there. He's like this mysterious man with like blue eyes and not a very nice person. Well, you could argue. No, you couldn't. But yeah, you might like those. They are quite good. B Mandy said, I love a problematic MC. Yeah. Are they fun to write, like problematic main characters, CJ?
Oh
For
yeah.
you?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not out here trying to write saints, you know.
Yeah. That's what we
And
like.
I,
We
that's what we like.
like
That's
the
what
bad
people want.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nikki said, "What? Oh, something. What is it? What is it with best friends in Point Horror?" So we'll get to Faye in a sec. We're gonna have to best friend that disappears. Yeah. So Sharon said, "Where did Faye go? Just vanished for half the book." So, what did you think of Faye and Robin's relationship, besties? Did you
I
like
mean,
them?
Faye was just like, did Faye talk about anything other than Parker's like wealth and status? Ever? Like, I don't think she ever talked about
No.
one other thing in the book that was just, she just had like six repeated lines about that and then disappeared. Like, incredible.
And sometimes, like, she was so awful to Robin, and I was like, I do kind of like the relationship between them, but like, if I was Robin, I don't know how she's putting up with it.
I mean, well, clearly she's not. She just ditched her and ran over to this other family with all these issues. And she's like,
Yeah,
this is better.
this is better than fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obsessed with Claudia.
that's where Faye went. Then she was just that offended that she wasn't the number one in Robin's life anymore. That was it, gone. But Faye was kind of like super dramatic and a bit of a diva, wasn't she?
Oh,
And like
totally.
as you say, like she couldn't stop talking about how hot and sexy and rich and awesome Parker was. No. And I think there's a line that Faye says where she goes, I think it's when So basically, Parker splashed. This is right at the beginning. Parker splashed Robin with mud, and Faye's in the bush somewhere, oblivious to what's going on. And then Robin turns Parker's lift down. So Faye's not very happy about it. But all she cares about is, and this is what she says, he knows who I am, even though he's called her an airhead. He knows who you are. I don't believe it. We could have got ridden to school with Parker Swanson. Everyone would have been so jealous. He might have even asked me out before Vicky. And I'm like, Faye, is this all you care about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a one-note character, I would say.
Yeah, she was crazy. Well, no, she wasn't crazy, but she was like selfish. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
She was completely oblivious to anything else other than her and what's going on with her. But I kind of liked her, did you? I liked Faye, I think. I think I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for being awful.
Yeah, she was fun.
Oh dear. B Mandy said, "Boys love a girl that makes bad decisions." Yes, very much. Claire put, "I'm sure all these events took place over 1 week." Oh, maybe we're wrong. Maybe it wasn't 2 days. I'm sure she referenced something about 2 days, but I could be wrong.
Regardless, it was definitely like so fast.
Even a
It was
week.
definitely, yeah, 100%. Like in a week, she was noticed by all the guys. She lost her best friend or ditched her.
Mm,
She became like totally entrenched in Claudia's life and also started a new job. And I mean, it was a big week.
yeah, big week. All the boys are after her now. Sharon said Skaggs needs to be on our creepy list. So we've got a creepy list of like point horror boys, but this Skaggs took it to a whole nother level. He was vile, wasn't he? Oh, did you?
I kind of liked Skaggs.
Did
I kind of
you?
because I was like, there's no way it's this guy. There's no way, like, he's too, like, it would be so obvious if it was this guy. So I just kind of felt like, you know, maybe he was like the working class representation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In this book. I
I
liked
didn't
him.
I didn't quite think of it like that. I mean, he was definitely like, well, I say the red herring. He was definitely set up to be the one,
Yes.
wasn't he? That you knew he was going to be involved somehow. Um, but the way he was going around grabbing Robin all the
The
time,
grabbing
and
wasn't great,
mm,
but I did feel like, well, if she's like skulking around this house at night and it's this dude's
yeah,
job, I don't know. Is that crazy?
no, that is. I haven't thought of it like that. That's really true. Like she was like, in those woods taking the
Yeah,
shortcuts and everything. So, and he was the caretaker of the
yeah.
grounds.
Says
So,
dude's paid to do this.
but a little bit handsy, a little
Little
bit
handsy.
too in the personal space. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, for sure.
and obviously a murderer in the end.
Also that. Wait, but I couldn't even understand in the end. So wait, he and Winifred and like who? Like what happened?
It was a very, very like convoluted ending, wasn't it? So the way I saw it was that Skaggs had killed Vicky. Um, Not sure for what reason. I think it's just because he was like a murderer,
Yeah.
and he obviously wanted to kill more girls. So was going to become a point horror serial killer. And then obviously spoilers, we find out that Claudia, who we'll have a little chat about, obviously has been throwing her voice and making all these ghostly sounds and things. Very
Yes.
clever. And then I think, and obviously Claudia is trying to use Robin for, I don't know, to pretend something to do with the inheritance, isn't it? It's all to do with money, it always is. And then Winifred, I wasn't 100% sure. She was just very protective of the
So
family. And
she killed Lilith.
so Claudia, no, hang on.
I think
Let me check my notes.
I
I'm
think
getting
Winifred
confused.
killed Lilith.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She killed Lilith, and then Claudia had killed the first wife, which was Parker's mom, by jumping in the middle of the road. So she
Yeah, and
killed Lilith.
who did Skaggs kill?
Vicky.
Who is that?
Some random character who we hear has disappeared and gone off with her boyfriend at the start of the book.
Oh, okay,
However,
okay, okay.
she, in my opinion, Vicky is to blame here because poor Robin got that job because Vicky was throwing some party or going away on holiday to Florida. So Robin wouldn't have needed the job if she didn't have to save the money to go on Vicky's holiday. So we all know who to blame. Vicky, who's dead in the
Yeah,
ground.
Vicky, yeah. We're here to blame the dead victim.
Oh, but it did get really like complicated in the end, and there was reveal after reveal after reveal.
I was
Um,
actually, yeah, I listened to it this morning and I kept rewinding and I was like, what? What happened?
like that's why I have to make notes sometimes because I'm just like I
Yeah.
need to keep track. I'm just going to get confused, not going in my head. But yeah, so I think the maid, I forgot her name, is Winifred. Well, I presume that's what she was. They don't really say that she's like the housekeeper. We just
Yeah.
presume that she is. But I think she killed Lilith because she could see what she was doing to the family and things. Basically, they were all just killing each other. Like, crazy.
Everyone's a murderer
Mm,
except for Parker,
mm,
Walt, Robin, and Faye.
mm.
Right? I guess that's
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Everybody else.
And her,
And Herc is good.
mm, you
Herc,
could
well, actually,
argue.
but then Herc kind of was ready to like step in. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like Herc is not as innocent as we think he is, even though he's like this lovable old character. He's not as innocent. Oh dear. Um, Justin from the rewatch recap said I really got some Rebecca vibes from this. Yeah, total Rebecca vibes. A few people saying Team Walt. So we'll have a little chat about Walt and Parker in a minute. Oh yeah, Sharon said Walt brought her over Chinese food and that won me over. B Mandy said Team Three Way about the ending. Loved Walt. Oh, lots of love for Walt. Eddie May said, "Ooh, yes, Skaggs was the worst. Think Skaggs means beard. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He was hiding stuff." B for Book said that Skaggs guy was so gross, proper slimy.
Definitely.
Nikki said, I loved Walt. Claudia almost gets hit by a car, and Walt says not to worry. The driver was having, oh, that's what you said. The
Yeah.
driver was having a bad day. That's what you
Hilarious.
saw earlier.
Hilarious. So true. Like he just came in, he's like, no problem.
Oh, Sharon says Skaggs was a weird name in the book, but when it's said out loud, it sounds weird. Yeah, it does. That's why I was wondering if I was saying it right. Speedway Chick said good point about the bath when she was terrified by the bath, but then
Yeah,
went
it's
and had a
hilarious.
bath. Speedway Chick said after I watched The Shining, I couldn't look at a bath for so long without seeing a creepy naked lady climbing out of it. So true. Emma said, I like this one, felt a little bit more mature compared to other point horrors. Because there was like times, I do agree with that, like where there were some gruesome bits, like the thing with the hand, the decapitated hand, and then the
Is
descriptions
that,
of
and that's not normal for point horror?
not no, not normally. Normally we don't get that much graphic detail, I would say. It gets implied, but this was kind of like quite descriptive, I thought. Especially when they're moving when Claudia's killed Skaggs at the end with the shears, the garden shears, and they
Yes.
try and move the body. That was like I was like loving that. I thought that was so cool. I was like, yeah, move him. Just pick him up with the garden shears. Like, just carry him like that. Yeah, so I think it was a little bit more mature than others, definitely. Um, Tam said Faye was a terrible friend. Claire says Julian from the Forbidden Game had redeeming features and an otherworldly attraction. Parker was just a horrible human being.
He kind
Faye, oh god,
Yeah. He kind of was, but then also then suddenly he was. I don't know.
yeah,
He was kind of like he was written like two different ways, I thought,
mm,
and we just sort of switched.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Because he kind of like that scene where he kind of grabs I think Robin's going into the house to meet Claudia and he kind of grabs her and pulls her on and pushes her onto this chair.
Yeah.
And I was like, Parker, no,
And
don't be
he's
doing
also
that.
like, you should, what did he say? Like, you should feel so grateful to be seen with me at school. I don't know,
Uh
he had like some weird comment. It's just
some
like, but
yeah, some
it didn't feel like posturing. I didn't think it was like posturing that then
mm,
like we saw beneath the veneer. I just thought it was like it was just like he had this like shift.
yeah. And I feel like I won't give any spoilers in case we have read it for the book club, but in case there's any new people who haven't read it. But in the mall by Richie Tankersley Cusick, a similar thing happens. I feel,
Interesting.
yeah, and the character changes. I mean, there's a kind of a reason for it, but it is like a totally different character then. So maybe it's like an author thing that she just likes to do
I
that.
love that. Love that. So we know the asshole is gonna end up, well, it's like a what, like enemies enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers, yeah, or enemies to three-way in this
Enemies
case.
to three-way.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, with nice Walt.
Yeah,
Nice.
let's just hope Herc didn't get involved.
You never know. Like he's not letting her go. She tried to
Mm.
quit and he was like, "Uh-uh, you're
No,
working
that's
for
it.
me."
You're one of us now. um, so, because I kind of got the impression, just talking about Herc, that something was going on between him and Winifred, right? Because he was like, "We'll pay all her legal fees. We'll get her back," like kind of
Love
thing.
it.
Yeah,
I love that that was included. Like I didn't even need to know the logistics of like that she's gonna need a good lawyer. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that could have been left, but I love that it was like we got like the very we got the follow through on that.
yeah. No, I liked that.
She's now like
Um,
in the legal system, like going through the process.
yeah. Yeah, but at least like normally we don't hear about what happens. Like we didn't hear about anyone else, like poor Vicky's body. We just get told they told
Yeah,
the
yeah,
police
yeah.
about. But at least we got closure on Winifred. That character we knew a lot about. um, Too Fond of Book said Faye was more of a frenemy. Sharon said Faye was boy mad. Yeah, Emma said Faye had Mean Girl vibes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, when Faye drops the door on her, when the door hits in her face,
Hilarious.
that's happened to me many a time. Like where,
No.
where it's normally because like I dawdle a little bit behind people sometimes, so they think I'm there. They don't do it on purpose. Well, not that I know of. And then yeah, I've had a door hit me in the face quite a few times because just oblivious to like my
That's terrible.
surroundings. Honestly, yeah, it's I'm very clumsy and it just never ends. Oh dear. Yeah, Marty Pamponi says time runs different in a point horror. That's very true. Yes. April said that was the first 90s YA where the threat of sexual assault was there. What Help
Oh,
Wanted
interesting.
was. Oh, okay, yeah. Um, yeah, speed
I guess
rate.
I just assumed like that it would never happen in the book, so I almost like didn't even infer. Do you know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh my God, that's so obviously what it was. But like
Mm,
in the world of the book, I was like, nah, that's not happening. It's just
yeah.
like, oh, there's like a dude grabbing her arm.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
Yeah. And
Bad
he
guy
does kind
signal.
of, yeah, he does kind of like in that end scene as well. Before Claudia does what she does with the shears, he is kind of like on top of Robin, and I think it is kind of implied what's going to happen until
Yeah.
Claudia steps in. Which you got to give
Okay, I
Claudia a
take
due
it back,
there.
everyone. I'm not a Skag supporter. Strike
Skags
it from the record.
in the bin. Speedway Chick said, "Can we talk about that shower scene? Like, were they were they running around naked?" So, set the scene. They're in the showers, Robin and Claudia, and a lot of these showers are out of order, conveniently. But there's a whole confusing thing about Claudia saying the signs moved on the shower, and they keep moving showers because one's cold and stuff, which was a bit confusing. But then all of a sudden, Claudia's covered in blood. And yeah, so it does mention that Robin grabs a towel, but it doesn't mention anything about Claudia being covered up. And obviously the boys come in. But essentially what's happened
True.
is, yeah, the somebody's put powder. Well, I presume Claudia's set this up now. Now we know the end. So someone's put powder in the shower head, and when the water comes on, it looks like blood, which is kind of cool in a weird way.
Yeah, I like that trick.
Yeah, might have to try that.
That
Preferably
was
not on
such a
myself.
yeah, I was like that scene I got so caught on like what's happening with the sign? Why is
Yeah.
the sign moving? Like where what's going
It
on?
was like really weird, like, and then obviously now we know Claudia could throw her voice. Um,
Yes.
and so she was throwing her voice, which is a clever trick to have. I wish
Is
I could like throw
that
my
a real thing?
voice.
Like can people actually do it that way?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It's like a good skill to have if you can do
That's
it.
crazy.
Yeah. And it must have been really convincing because everyone was falling for it. But yeah, and then obviously the boys come in and like Claudia's just like staring into thin air, I think naked, and like no one says anything.
Covered
Yeah,
in blood.
covered in blood, Carrie style.
Yeah.
We like it. Claire said I was genuinely disturbed reading how physical Skaggs was getting with the kidnap. Yeah.
It's so
Oh,
funny. I don't know why that didn't register to me, but you're
yeah.
so right.
And Emma said, didn't Skeggs sexually assault Vicky? Oh,
I don't
okay.
if that happened, I'd missed it.
Yeah, same here. I was just like, oh, I just don't like Skaggs. I'm just trying to skip over
You know what?
as much
I
as
felt like
possible.
when he was introduced, I like started to envision him as like almost like a Scooby-Doo villain, you know, like
Mm.
really just like over the top creepy, but like ultimately very harmless. And
Yeah.
maybe I just like projected that the entire time of it.
You were just blocking out everything else
Yeah.
that was going on. But yeah, but they normally are, like I will say, like in Point Horror, when you do get a character like that, they normally are a bit Scooby-Doo-ish. So
Yeah.
I kind of get where you're coming from with that. They do give that vibe sometimes. Speedway Chick said Winifred wasn't in the same league as Skaggs. No, she wasn't. Like, I know that she killed Lilith in a quite brutal way, really.
Well, she said,
Now I think about
what did
it.
she said it was painless and quick.
I mean, she kind of like dragged the poor woman down to the cliff, kind of did some weird things with her wrists, and then threw her over the edge. So I'm not
But
sure
didn't
whether.
she slipped something in her tea or
Oh
something? Was that,
yeah,
did I
she
make that?
put something in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. So she
tea.
was out.
Yeah.
Winifred's like, no, I'm a good guy. And also she was like, I would do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll pay for the good lawyer, and then Winifred will be in the next Point Horror, like as a serial killer or something. Tam said, was it Vicky under the bush at the beginning of the book when Robin and Faye were jumping through the hedge? Yes, I think it was when they find that bloodied hair and stuff. It was definitely Vicky. Yeah. And Sharon said Vicky just disappeared from home and people just didn't really talk about it much. That would have been huge news at my school. Yeah, definitely. Vicky was the girl that wanted to run away to California. Yeah, it was all Vicky's fault, really, because she wanted to go to Florida. I agree. Too fond of books said they didn't seem concerned about Vicky. They assumed that she ran off. And Emma said Team Parker. Oh, Walt is dull. So were you Team Parker or Team Walt? Because we they've both got their own qualities.
I I don't know. I'm team both, but also I do feel like how did Walt just come out of nowhere and is so like nice guy? I don't know. In this world, I'm like you're the only character in this entire book who's like completely
Mm,
nice, and that
mm,
feels sus.
yeah,
I don't know. But
yeah.
I don't know. Robin, I don't feel like was too edgy herself. So maybe it's like a really good match. Maybe she just needs this like nice guy who's gonna bring her takeout, and that's lovely.
Mm.
Team single. Okay, maybe I'm team single
Team
too.
single.
I'm
Or
team three-way and then
I was just
single.
gonna say, I was just gonna say, or maybe we might be team three-way.
Yeah.
Oh dear,
The deleted shower scene.
yes. What really happened in that locker room?
Yeah.
Oh dear, but yeah, I do agree. Kind of like, didn't he? I'm just trying to check my notes whether he'd been at the school. Oh, so he transferred to the school at the start of the year, so he was new to the
Okay, he
school.
was new. Wait, but was Claudia new also? Like, what was the deal with, was
So
she not
she
there before, but Parker was?
So Parker was, they were new to the area as well. I don't know how long, but Parker had been going to the school, probably not for very long, but Claudia hadn't been going because she'd been hauled up in a room unwell.
Got it.
And then all of a sudden, randomly, she decides to start school and fall down the stairs, which
So
now we know.
she was like, I just need some like minion to help me like see all my plans through. Was that like she needed to go like lure someone in at the school? Is
Yeah,
that
so
what
I
happened?
think I think she got the vibe that Claudia, not Claudia, that Parker liked Robin. So she obviously picked up that vibe. So I think she was trying to use Robin to then lure, try and
Makes
get,
sense.
yeah, something like
Makes
that.
sense. Okay.
I'm still not 100% sure, but
Oh my
I
God.
liked
Parker
it.
giving Logan from Gilmore Girls. You know what? I was
Oh,
actually kind of team
oh,
Logan back in the day.
yeah.
Logan was kind of unproblematic, is what I'm gonna say, and the other two, not so much.
Mm,
But
yeah, I agree there, actually. Like, yeah, Parker
I know
did give
everybody
those
hates Logan. I
vibes.
know. This is where I lose all my friends and fans.
Oh dear. No, he did give Logan vibes. Yeah, definitely. Oh.
But even
So,
cooler because he does live in like a haunted mansion, effectively.
yeah. And Rich. Yeah, yeah, Rich. That'll have to
Look at all the Logan hate here. Hilarious.
do. Oh dear. Claire said, whose hand was that? The decapitated hand. So I'm guessing
Good
it was
question.
Vicky's. Vicky's, maybe. I'm guessing.
Could it have been Lilith's? Like how decayed was it? Also, when
Mm.
did Lilith die? Like how
I think
long
it was
ago? Was it right before?
6 months before, I think they said. Something like that. So it was quite fresh. Not the hands, but I mean, not
Yeah,
the hands, but the death.
but also
But maybe the hand
could
as
there
well.
was the hand only seen by Claudia, or did
Well,
it come
no,
back?
it came back because when Robin fell asleep by the fire at
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
end, they put the
yeah.
hand. The hand was like there when she woke up, like oh, and she could smell it before she could see it. Like I love that description as well. Like she was like there was a smell, and she looks at this decapitated hand. Like that's pretty gruesome for point horror. I was loving it. Oh dear. Melina put, it's interesting that Rich Tankersley seems to gravitate towards mental health in all of her point horrors. So she does tend to use the mental health and talk about mental health. I mean, I don't feel like in this one, like I feel it was like mocked a little bit, especially by her. the grandpa, he just was not having anything about this mental
Yeah,
health stuff.
definitely.
And obviously, they're not believing Claudia, which, wouldn't you know, the ending, you kind of think, like, I know they were right, but I didn't want them to be right. Because, she obviously clearly needed help regardless.
I knew it was her from moment one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I just started watching Buffy for the first
Mm.
time. I had never
Oh,
seen it before.
wow. Oh, you'll love it.
Um yeah, it's really fun. But I just watched an episode where it was like the same premise, but also Claudia, I just feel like you name a character Claudia, she's gonna do something problematic. You know what? I don't know what that is. Like it just seems like kind of I know there was like a babysitter's club, Claudia, so she's
Mm.
exempt. But like everybody else who's named Claudia in fiction, I feel like it's like, oh, this bitch, you know?
Oh, well, I'd never read this one before, and I couldn't call who it was going to end up being. I just couldn't see what the twist was going to be. I suspected Walt for so long, and I feel so stupid because it was obviously the classic red herring that I fell for that. But I never normally get it right anyway. But yeah, I didn't. I started suspecting Claudia. I thought, but my money was on Walt. I just, yeah,
On Skaggs. Or was it
on
on
Walt,
Walt? You thought it
on
was Walt the
Walt.
whole time? I mean, he was kind of sus. Claudias are always psychos is a great. I'm obsessed with that.
I just thought Skaggs was the red herring, and I was trying to
Yeah,
think
yeah,
like,
but then it was Walt.
yeah,
That's so funny. I mean, he
yeah.
was such a nice guy. It's like
Mm,
you would kind of think that.
I know. I feel so silly now.
Well,
It
but
was,
everybody was a killer, so I
yeah,
mean, we were all kind of
definitely.
wrong, right?
Yeah. Lisa said, I forgot about the hand on the pillow. Descriptions were detailed for point horror. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Vicky's hand. Emma said Parker is insecure and uses banter to hide it. Ah, yeah, definitely. The Mandy said, I'm excited to read more Rich Tankersley Cusick. I highly recommend. She's one of my favourites. Marzi Pamponi said, I feel like we've stumbled into point horror after dark. I think that was with that. Like, I don't know what bit that was at, but we were probably saying something smutter. Yeah, Claire said Parker physically grabbed Robin a few times
Yeah,
and couldn't see past
everybody's
the waist.
grabbing everybody
Yeah. And
in this book
and
and
Claire,
throwing each other downstairs.
yeah, I know. And Claire said she couldn't see past the way he spoke about Claudia with her mental health. Yeah, he was really like not supportive of Claudia at all. He just really didn't like her. Speedy Raychick said we were led to believe that Parker was the bad guy, so that's why he was initially written like that, but then he softened. Yeah. See, I didn't think it was Parker at any point, because I just thought, no, there's
Yeah,
no
me
way.
neither.
Yeah. Eddie May said enemies to a three-way kind of sounds like a book I'd read.
There you go.
There we go.
I think that's what this book was.
Oh, Sharon said Claudia had to kill Skaggs. He was her accomplice. Yes. Yeah. She was covered with the towel by Robin. Oh, so Claudia was covered with the towel by Robin. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Shoot.
And B Mandy said Robin really showered and bathed a lot. Yeah, she did. She was very
She
clean.
did. She's
Yeah.
a clean main character.
Yeah. Kelly said because Skaggs was over the top, I thought he was a red herring. Yeah, definitely. B
Yeah.
Mandy said Scooby Doo villain perfectly describes Skaggs. Dustin from Rewatch Recap said RTC loves a mysterious mansion and a family plot that a random damsel gets entangled in. Yeah. Lots of love for Walt. Walt wins for me, Tam says. The offer to buy food was cute. Oh, and he bought chow mein and egg rolls. Bless him. Bless him. Um, and we don't normally see the characters eating as well in a point horror. Like they just never eat. So it
Oh
was
my gosh.
refreshing.
This one kills me. Why would she take someone
Oh, say that again, CJ, because I lost you just a little bit. Say it again.
This one is Karen Harding, but why would she take someone else's book in the bath? Hath she no respect? So true.
That is so
Robin is
true.
kind of whack. Robin's like, I don't know why. I don't know what her decision make, but I guess she's a teenager, so like the
Mm.
sort of decision making is always a little dubious.
Yeah, but like, that is true. You're taking someone else's book in the bath, then you ruin the notes. Like,
Yeah. And
and she
also this
keeps it.
one, Walt visited Robin, sat with her for an hour or so, eating and drinking her food before dropping the bombshell that she had a death threat pinned to her front door. Also so true.
He just pulls it out of his pocket like
By the way,
surprise.
by the way,
By the way, this was on your door,
I'm
but
dying.
don't go to the police. He
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
kept telling her not to go to the police, and that was annoying me because I was like, Robin, please go to the police. Don't listen to him. Not that the police are any good in these books, and clearly they weren't. But it did annoy me at the end where Walt did say, "Well, I went to the police because my cousin or brother or something is a police officer." So it's like they listened to him, but they didn't listen to Robin when she went, and I was like, not good. Yeah, 6 months since Lilith died. There were some really cool descriptions, Emma says. Oh, Karen, yeah, hi, Karen. Yeah, Too Fond of Books says the mental health aspect was a bit problematic. I do agree. Like, they were so horrible to Claudia. Horrible.
Yeah.
Just didn't, yeah, yeah. Sharon was laughing about Claudia's are always psychos. Nikki said Buffy rules, so you'll love Buffy, yeah, CJ,
It's so
definitely.
good.
Mm. And Kelly said there were multiple killers in this, which was unusual for a point horror. Yeah, I do agree. I think she was kind of going for like an Agatha Christie kind of vibe with it,
Yeah.
with the multiple killers. Yeah,
Yeah. It felt like YA Agatha Christie to me.
yeah. And Karen said, I suspected her, I presume she means Claudia, as soon as she was on the stairs. Oh, I was just confused. I was like, that Walt gets everywhere. Oh, and Sharon said, I thought it was Walt too early on as well. So it wasn't just me who thought it was Walt. Emma said, I knew it was Claudia, but suspected she might have an evil twin. That would have been cool. Like,
We needed, yeah, we just needed more
yeah.
characters in this. We just needed to bring in even
just,
more.
just some more.
This cast was already like in a very short book, like how many characters? So many.
Oh,
Just one
dear.
more. I
There
actually
is,
like that idea.
yeah, there's another point horror writer who we're reading next month, called D.E. Atkins, which if you spell it, I always call her Deathkins because obviously that was the pen name, but she puts so many characters in her book, like I'm gonna need like a flow chart or something. Well, she did in one of her books. I've never read the one we're reading next month, but I'm sure that there'll be tons. I'm gonna have to like do a timeline or something like that. Too Fond of Books said I like Claudia in Interview with the Vampire.
Oh yeah.
Lisa said this book had more twists than a turkey twizzler. I loved it. Claire said I couldn't see past the mental health descriptions in this one, unfortunately. Usually I can see past it in most point horror reads, but this one really didn't age well in that respect. I do agree, like they did not help the situation at all. Not at all. They just kept talking about locking Claudia up all the time, and I was like, oh
And in
dear.
fact saying she's crazy. She
Yeah,
liked the words she's
constantly.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So in a kind of way, it's fitting. I don't mean it in the way it sounds, but it's fitting that it did end up being the twist that she was doing it,
Yeah.
because you kind of
Yeah.
think she really, really, really did need help. Bless her. No, perhaps if they got her the help, it wouldn't have got to that
But
extreme.
she committed all the murders to begin with before she went through any like loss or grief, right? Or am I like, or she was already dealing with mental health issues before? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't,
Yeah, I don't know. I just think what happened to her mom and her seeing her mom obviously cracked her, and she obviously
oh yeah,
needed.
she didn't do that. You're right, right,
Yeah,
right. Okay, okay.
she
See, I need a flow
obviously.
chart too. We
I
all
think she.
do.
I think Lilith's body washed up or something on the shore, and
Okay,
then she found the body or saw the body. So that, to anyone, that's gonna, and then
of
that's when she
course.
obviously plotted this revenge to then, get revenge on the family, which is kind of cool, really. But I think it just affected her that much that she really, really did need help. But yeah, bless her. Bless her. Um, Speedway Chick said, would have been good if Faye didn't just disappear and instead was jealous of Robin spending more time with Claudia and exposing her. Oh, that would have been
I kind
good.
of I liked that Faye just disappeared. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, it was so funny to me. She's just gone now.
She's
Doesn't
just
even go
like,
here.
she's
Yeah,
gone off with Zach, who she would have dropped at the, dropped for anybody, really.
loved it.
Um, Speedway Chick said, "Is there a character like Skaggs in another point horror book, Lurch vibes?" Not that I've read. I can't recall there being a character like that. Like boys, but not like a full adult character like that, or not that we've got to yet. Anyway, um, yeah, I loved how Robin gave her back the dried up blank note out the back.
The blank piece of paper.
Yeah,
And also, didn't Walt was like, I saw this note on your front door, and then he ripped it up and
yeah.
told her what it said. Like, there's no way to corroborate. Like, did Walt actually do everything? I'm seeing all this conversation about it
This
too.
is why. Yeah, this is why I thought it was Walt.
Did
Mm.
actually like, were we given like a false ending? Is this not real? Is
Mm.
she about to go into the shower three-way and everything's gonna get really, really bad?
Everything's going to go psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melina's put Walt knew the Point Horror police are awful too. Yeah. See, did he really go to the police?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
The whole thing was so weird. And also, like, I love that he got her Chinese food, but also if that's his, like, big redeeming, if that's, like, his one, like, big gesture, like, we're like, oh, he bought her Chinese food, so he's a good guy. It's just like, the bar is not that high.
No. Mind you, what does that say about us and people in the comments that were easily pleased with Chinese food? We're like, oh,
Yeah.
he brought her food. Chinese food. We're
I
easily
mean, look, like,
pleased.
if I am brought Chinese food, I too am totally like, okay, I'm
Oh,
yours forever.
yeah,
But
definitely. We're easily pleased. Karen said the explanation for her getting set up was a bit flimsy. It all hung on her randomly telling the police and doing a specific weird series of actions. Like, what if she listened to everyone and kept quiet? Yeah. Because, like, Claudia was relying on the fact that Robin would go to the police, right? It all gets a bit confusing, but yeah, it was a little bit. We were a bit confused by the end. Nikki said Walt's uncle was a police officer, but let's just not go to the police. Yeah, so all that time, his uncle was the police officer, and he's going, "Don't go to the police. Just eat this egg roll. Here you
yeah.
go."
And
Yeah.
by the way, here's this note. And also, like, I'm seeing in here, we don't know the timeline. Like, or maybe I just don't know it. Did Claudia kill Parker's mom before her mom died or after?
So Claudia killed Parker's mum before Lilith because
Yeah. So
she wanted Lilith to get with Gardner, who was not the Gardner, but Gardner, who was the son we never saw. Um, so
So
she
at
wanted.
the beginning, Claudia is like killed someone. And then her
Yeah.
mom dies and somebody put in here, I don't know where the comment is now, that Claudia had way more motive to kill her mom than
Mm,
Winifred did. Winifred seemingly like
yeah.
very little motive.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like what it I don't know. This timeline really affects things. You know, is it like PTSD or what, or did she just kill everyone to begin with?
I wonder if, like, in the original edit, they kept like RTC like did have Claudia as killing her mom as well, because she makes some comment, doesn't she,
Right?
about I wanted my mother's love, and so that's why I killed Parker's mom to gain that approval. So there was obviously like some like
And she's so
fiction
much
there.
disdain for her mom. She was like, my mom was like a fake, whatever
Yeah,
medium. It's like she like
yeah,
talks about her mom and actually it's like kind of a very negative
yeah.
way. I don't
No.
know.
So
I
maybe in the original edit, Claudia just did everything, and then the editor was like, "You can't do this in a teen horror. Add some random
blame, yeah,
person."
yeah, yeah. Blame these older folks.
and,
It's
and
on
then
them now.
and then RTC was like, which one of my main characters could I pick? Oh no, I'll pick Winifred.
Winifred, the
Yeah.
most like unproblematic, like very uh not very described
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, it does make me wonder whether that was an edit change. Like now we've talked about it, I do think maybe that's what happened. Um, yeah, she killed the first wife. Emma said, I suspected Claudia had also killed her mum because it was said they hated each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, the housekeeper didn't
yeah,
have a strong reason. Yeah, definitely. Let's not forget Claudia got rid of Parker's mum first, Speedway Chick said. Karen said, I did wonder if the. Oh, Karen, you give me the hard words to say. I did wonder if the plethora of medications she was on to go to sleep, wake up, eat food was what was causing her to be a bit strange. Yeah, so because it does mention she was on a lot of
she's heavily
medications,
medicated,
Claudia.
but again, it's like, well, did that start before she killed people, or did it
Mm,
start after? Like, I feel
yeah.
like this timeline is crucial,
Mm.
and we will
We need more
never know.
explanation. No. Emma said, can't trust a nice guy in a point horror. Very true. Um, Sharon said, you have no idea how much I like Chinese food. Speed Chick said, Walt seems to have divided opinion. And Sharon said, I love the description of Manor Wood. Yeah, I thought the whole
Great
description of the
house.
house was amazing. I mean, oh, just, yeah, sounded brilliant. Sharon said, I love the description of Manor Wood, how cosy it was with the roaring fires. Also, how horrible and creepy with the shimmering apparitions and whispering voices around the place. Um, Dustin says RTC wrote her books on a haunted desk. Oh, yes, she did. So the author
That's
wrote on a
awesome.
haunted desk. Maybe the spirit skewed with her stories into weird directions.
I would
Definitely.
definitely read more by this author, by the way.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh, I'm
fun one.
pleased. Yeah. And I do feel like all of her books are very much like that. They are all fun. And like she was always my favourite as a teen when I read her books. And then even as an adult now, I really do enjoy it, except when she confuses me.
Is she still writing? Does anybody know?
Not as far as I know. I don't think she writes anymore. But I did do an interview with her, which is on
Oh,
my blog page.
cool.
This was like a few years ago now, but it was really interesting. I was proper fangirling when I wrote the questions, and you can tell I'm like, oh, I've got to ask her everything. But she gave some really good answers, and about writing as well. It was
Oh, that's
brilliant.
awesome.
Yeah. So just one last question that I just because we haven't really talked about Herc, but I just wanted to just say that I really did like Herc, and I love the description when we first meet him that he's like this fairy tale stooped troll in this maroon dressing gown, which was much too big for him and long for him, and he had this bushy white hair stuck all around his bald spot and his ears, and he had this hunched shape, and he had these little purple slippers on.
And she's like, there's no way this man can be the relative
Yeah.
of like this hot guy from school. She's like, there's no way.
And as much as like he had his faults, like he was really not good about the mental health stuff. Like he did have a good sense of humor in other respects. So
But the
he was
thing,
like,
if her mental health was bad to begin
mm,
with, then he
mm,
is kind of like the worst. But if she just is a murderer in their family who's like continuously killed people and they're
mm,
still like keeping in the family and like feeding and like sending to school,
yeah,
then I'm kind of like, Herc, you're kind of, I mean, you the dude's doing his best. You know, I feel like
yeah,
there are two very different
yeah.
scenarios here. Like,
Mm.
is this like a mental health crisis story where this poor girl went through this traumatic thing, or is she just like this crazy murderer that they're all like, yeah, well, that's my half sister, or that's our whatever, you know, like very different.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's just he was very dramatic. I just saw Kelly put. I pictured him as Hugh Hefner,
Love that.
and I
Love
can't
that.
unsee it. Or I pictured him a little bit like, like the characters kind of like John Cleese plays, like these really over the
Yeah,
top
yeah,
characters,
yeah.
like that. I could just imagine that. Emma said Herc said one of my favourite sayings, and I think he does the point at this point. He goes, "Put that in your pipe and smoke it." Sharon says, I think Herc suspected Claudia. Oh, interesting. Maybe he did, and that's why. Because they do say, like, to Robin, stop falling for what she's telling you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, suppose a scenario where this girl just started killing off family members,
Mm.
then like they're all just keeping her around. I don't know, but they might be like, "Hey, maybe don't listen to that girl, but she is gonna be here. You know, you might interact with her, but you know, if she tells you there's like blood all over the place, like maybe there's not."
Oh, and Tooth Wonder Book said, didn't Rich Tankers Cusick write Fatal Secrets? That's my favourite. So if you read another one, CJ, I recommend
Okay,
Fatal
Fatal
Secrets.
Secrets. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
it's really
you.
good. And I haven't done that for the book club yet because I'm like holding off, like, because I'm like, I want people to like it because it's my favourite. So I've been putting off doing it, but I'm going to have to do it soon.
I'm
Oh,
sure
Kelly said it's one
everyone
of the
will love it.
best. Yeah, I hope so because it is my favourite. But yeah, so thank you, CJ. Thanks for joining, and you definitely read another point horror
Yeah,
now.
I'm gonna read
Yeah.
Fatal Secrets.
Yay! Yeah. Oh, but thank you for taking the time and reading it and going on this crazy journey of point horror with us.
Thank
It
you
was
so much for
a
having me.
wild
And
ride.
it was really fun. I really enjoyed reading it. And honestly, the audiobook was really, really good. So if
Yeah.
anybody, I imagine there are more of these on audio. So
Yeah, I
this was
think they
super,
did
thank
do
you
a
so much.
few. Yeah, they did do a few on Audible. So maybe I'll have to give one a go on Audible just to see how the characters come across being
It was
spoken to me
fun.
rather than my imagination
Also, these
going wild.
comments, all of you are so hilarious. This like
Yeah.
definitely, this was a very great comment thread to follow. You brought your A
No,
game today.
yeah, you've all been brilliant in the comments, and you've reminded me and of things that I'd forgotten, and also like put me on the straight and narrow when I'm getting confused on the end. So thank you guys, that's brilliant. Oh, and thanks again, CJ. And do check out CJ's books, Mayfly, and check out American Rapture when that comes out, and go and pre-order it, and then we'll
Thank
go and
you.
tell all them publishers to publish it in the UK. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
we gotta get her over to the UK.
Definitely. Oh, thanks, CJ. Thanks, everyone. See you next
Thank
month. All
you.
right, bye. Bye.